Champions. I put up the thumbnail for a Hughes and Kettner in yesterday's live stream, and I didn't get around to doing it. So here we are. Sorry, just pressed the wrong screen there. So Hughes and Kettner. Oh, helps if I turn the camera on. Hughes and Kettner Tube Meister 36. Here she is in all her glowy glory. Now the complaint with this one is that the power mode switches aren't working as expected. So we've got it up and running at the moment. It's drawing 72 watts from the wall, and it's a bit confusing the setup down here. But basically, you've got power soak. So it's got a combination of inbuilt resistive attenuation, as well as just turning the valves on and off by the cathode to change your power output level. So the issue is the 1 watt, now it's down to 58 watts from the wall, seems to be the only switch that's working. The others aren't doing anything. So that's full power at the moment, 36 watts. You can take it down to 1 watt. You can see the power draw from the wall change. So that's turning valves on and off. As I think that's also switching the attenuator, resistive attenuator in as well. Now those modes do work because I've got the foot switch here, and you can program different settings, different patches to have different modes, and you can see those modes are lighting up with different settings. So that's the 36. That's muted. That's 18 watt. That's reverb on. And that's 36 again, 18 watt. So the modes are working, but the buttons aren't on the rear panel. So it could be as simple as, see, I can't turn it off when it's already triggered either. So these 3 buttons aren't responding no matter what I do. The only one that is the 1 watter. So it just worries me a little bit because they're illuminated. So there may be an unobtainium button that you've got to get from Hughes and Kettner, which I hate having to get parts directly from the suppliers because they're usually non-responsive, or they want you to be a dealership, and they only keep they protect their one tech who's usually a useless fuckhead. They're one authorized tech who lives in fucking Nova Scotia or somewhere, and you got to ship the air. It's so fucked. Just give us the information, give us the parts, please. So I can't remember if Hughes and Kettner are one of the good ones that actually provide stuff to third-party repairers, or if they're secret squirrel elite club people. At any rate, let's take it apart and we'll test those switches and see if they are responding directly on their contacts. Unplug the foot switch and see if they work. I already did. Working at midnight, yeah. How are we all? Bit of a quiet stream because everyone's, you know, looking at Betty Buyers time. I went to see Dillinger Escape Plan last night. Holy Jesus. What a hectic band. Oh, fuck. What is that? Oh. I freaked out then because this thing made that sound and it sounded like a spark. So my reflexes got the better of me and I pulled back, but it was just the sound of that sounding like a spark because I'm working at the mains end. My mind thought, shit, is there a screw or something floating around in there that touched the, but it's unplugged anyway, so I'm an idiot. It's just when you hear that, your brain thinks arcing. Rewind that if you want a bit of a laugh. 7 days a week, yeah, pretty much. Still not fast enough for most of my clients. They'll expect you to work harder and faster and longer and fucking whatever. Okay. So these have a metal. I remember now. I'm remembering. Oh, yep, that just lifts off. Got to be careful with the LED strip. And one of these screws you can just leave in. I think it's that one. Is it that one? No, it's the other one. It's the front one. You can just leave in so that way you can keep the handle on the end. And I just dropped the screw. Awesome. That is some fancy switching to dynamically turn the tubes on and off. Yeah, I'll show you the schematic shortly. Yeah, heard that flap this time. I expected it. They're pretty good sounding amps once, you know, you fix them. Alright, screw. There you are. Finally an easy to find one. Right. Come on, memory. Alright, so bottom can come off. Probably didn't need to remove the top, but wanted to inspect everything anyway. I broke it using Kettner fluorescent bulb. Had to go through Trainor. They went back to H&K Germany, and they said $400 in 10 months. Installed LEDs, yeah. So yeah, a lot of people are installing LEDs, but then they're finding that the switch mode supplies that come with them are injecting noise into the circuit. I think Six had a problem with that on one of them, on Triamp. This one is already LED. I've got a Hughes and Kettner Pure Tone over there, which is, I think, still got the stupid high voltage cold cathode tubes. Maestro, glad to catch a stream. Yeah, I just thought I'd chuck the camera on. I was trying to film a video and just not feeling it, so I thought I'll just do a bloody live stream. No thought required, no planning. Just gonna stream for maybe like 2 hours and then go for a run. I've been too busy to exercise and it's starting to piss me off. Alrighty then. You can see a whole bunch of resistors floating up in midair. I believe some of them are the attenuator, some of them are like screen grid or droppers. They might be all the attenuation actually. I'll have to get the schematic out and have a look. No, the screen grids are on the board. We've got 100 ohm screen grids, which again with EL84s is not great. That's probably why it cooks them quite often. There's a lot going on in these things. But they are relatively well designed still. It's just trying to fit a lot into a box. This one's nowhere near as bad as the Grandmeister. That thing is the same size, same form factor as this, but it's got fucking DSP and shit in there as well. At least this one you can sort of get in there and measure stuff. Just familiarizing myself with it again. Okay, there's the FETs. Actually, you can kind of get to everything on this one. The Tube Meister, not the Grandmeister. The Grandmeister's sort of like, it's got another board across here with all the DSP on it, so you can't get to anything. But yeah, a lot going on and not very much room. You're waiting on Ola. Oh, yeah. Sunday with Ola. Adafruit has ones that shine down from one edge so it lights up the acrylic letters nicely wide into the 15 volt supply, if I remember correctly. Yeah, if it doesn't draw too much current, it should be fine. I'm going good, James. How are you? Bologna is just flat hot dog. Well, no, it's just a massive hot dog that's been sliced into a thin slice. Oh, God. Harley Benton is offering an amp head switcher for less than $100. I'd probably steer away from that. That's not something you want to cheap out on. The lifespan of your amp depends on it. Well, this is pretty easy. We can just measure it from the back here. It's going to be a double-handed, double Dutch rudder kind of operation, though. It's going to be a bit tricky. Alright, so it is a weird switch. I can see the two contacts for the LED, which if I'm in diode mode will probably light up. Get the polarity right. Yep. I don't know if you can see that with the light, but you can see down here. You can't really make it out. Try and get a bit of a shadow happening. Nah, still can't make it out. Panny boy. I freaked it out with my head. You can see there it lights up with the meter. So that's the LED pads there. And normally closed contacts. And when we push it in. Okay, the buttons are working. So of course, nothing's that simple. Alright, schematic time then, I guess. The button's working fine. Oh, Seth's hoarding again. Stop hoarding, Seth. Hughes and Kettner. Come on, computer. Just installed a Texas heat into a Hot Rod Deluxe retube bias at 5751 for V1. 12XM for V2, 12XM for V3 sounds pretty insane and loud. Yeah, the Texas heater, a good driver. Did you see the video where I put a graphic EQ between the preamp and power amp in a hot rod, and it really made the overdrive a lot more usable, less boxy, nasally, messy sound, and actually made it sound a lot more usable. Alright, owner's manual, that's no good to us. And there is a service document, so that may be a service bulletin. It's got an automatic biasing system too, which is also not great. It's never really been well executed. It's always been a problem. Every time someone's tried to create a automatic biasing system, it's always been fraught with problems. Okay, which switches are they? It's a big schematic, champions. Six pages. Sorry, just trying to read chat as well. What is the little 7 segment number on the circuit boards? 1229 is 6551. 1229 over here. Yeah, 1229 or 1229. There's like a space there. Why is that? Oh, you think because it could be upside down? I'd imagine it'd be the same orientation as the text above it. What does it mean? I don't fucking know. It's the model number or internal reference number. Doesn't mean anything to us. Desk chair. Alright, let's go through this thing. So, rear board. Do I have to remove it to find out what switch numbers they are? Probably. Can I get a mirror in there? That maintenance smells. It smells like someone's used air freshener on it in the case, and it fucking it's making my whole shop stink. I see a number, but it's right up the front. Struggling to see. Not enough light. So the problem is you got switches on the rear, but you don't know what component number they are on the schematic. Oh, it's got a circuit board layout. Could have looked for that to start with. Alright, so we're looking at SW4, 5, 6, and 7 on the schematic. That's a tube regulator computer. Nice schematic, isn't it? They couldn't have fit much more in. Is this searchable text? I think it is. It's like a true type font. If you can do that, then you can search for that term. SW, was it 6, 7, something? Alright, so that's our switches. The only one that's working is the 1 watt one, which is that one. Now, see the way they're switching. They've got a reference voltage here. See, that's ground with a triangle. And that's ground. Ground, ground. So they've got a big voltage divider. You got your plus 5 volts there. You got a 12K there, current limiting. Then you've got a 1K, 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 1K. So when you press any of these buttons, that will pull down this line to a certain voltage, depending on how many of these resistors you just shorted out. And there's different value resistors there too. So according to what, so you got 2.7K, 6.8K, 15K, and 39K. So what that's doing is pulling this line here to a different voltage depending on which button you press. And then that has some local decoupling here. And then that lead goes up to an ADC pin up here. So that's basically pin 23 is a analog input on the AT-Mega 88. So it's an analog input. It's reading that voltage constantly, or probably periodically, like every 10 times a second or something. And then if the voltage changes, it measures that voltage and then determines which button you've pressed off that. So there is a possibility that it's user error and something's set up. I'd probably have to read the manual tonight and figure out if there is a way to disable certain modes or something, just to make sure that's not the case, or if there is a factory reset option, just to be 100% sure. Because with these kind of things, microcontroller based stuff and synthesizers, effects processors, you can get them into a state where they don't play nice because of either some combination of settings that was unintended on behalf of the customer, or it could be a software thing where if you have certain modes engaged at the same time, other options don't work. It could be an error, it could be a bug in the software. So let's eliminate that before we go hunting down the hardware path. But if that doesn't work, we'll go hunting down the hardware path. But yeah, it's a pretty basic circuit. It looks complex, but once you understand the principle behind what they're doing, ignore the LEDs. They're just coming back from, well, we could follow them. So you got constant current drivers. They're getting switched over here. That's plus 5 on one side. 1, 2, 3. It's a bit hard to follow all the buses. 5. Okay, so there's, oh, here we go, up here. So they're just miso. Now I want some soup. Suck the miso. So yeah, they're just outputs that turn the LEDs on and off. Think of them as like display drivers, I guess. But the actual input is just basically a voltage divider, an adjustable voltage divider. Know what I'm saying? So, where were we? Get my phone up. I don't like staring at the screen because all you get to see is the top of my head. There we go. Top chat. Remember to change it over to all messages or live chat instead of top chat, champions. Alrighty. Shop smells like a wet kangaroo. Really? Why is that? That's a bit weird. Swear I've seen that same number on other circuit boards. Maybe a regulatory thing. I don't know. Could be a EU thing or something. I'm not sure. I don't think customs is going to find a number on a circuit board and allow imports. I got an Ibanez RD-747 base that someone had puked beer and liquor into the case. Ugh. Had quite an aroma to it. I got an SG that had a run-in with a durian fruit in an airliner. Both very awful. I've never smelled durian, but I think I know it's very like not acetone. What's the other A chemical? It smells like rotting stuff. Antimony? No. Ammonia. It's very ammonia smelling, isn't it? Thank you, Mark. Yes, do smash that like button. Not that it really matters at the moment because it's a pretty quiet stream. Brad's stream is what I need to unwind after the first weekend of my 2-band joint tour. What, are you playing in both the bands, Lucas? You would need a rest, mate. Ammonia, yeah, that's the one. Few cases salvaged. Durian SG cases ceremonially burned in my backyard. Oh yeah, I was going to show you an SG yesterday too. Let's see if I've got time. Probably not. G'day, Scotty. What's going on, legend? Just having a bit of a quiet stream today. It's not going to be a lot of people because it's a weird hour. Right, factory reset. How do we do that? Is there a documented method? How to... Typo. AI overview. Do we trust that? I don't. Let's open the manual. Playing 2 shows a night, jeez. How are your fingers going? I assume you're a guitarist. Wait, is this text? Oh, yep, cool. Resets. That's preset. Factory reset. To reset the amp to factory default settings, press and hold a MIDI learn and effects loop on button simultaneously for 5 seconds until the MIDI learn button lights up. After you release the MIDI learn button, it will flash once to confirm that the reset has been executed properly. Okay. Sweet as, bro. This is a bit annoying to hold. I might put the back cover back on because it gives some structural integrity. to do that, we have to put the end covers back on too. I got a bit ahead of myself, taking them off. Long time no see, yeah. Since yesterday. That was yesterday morning. Today it's afternoon at least. Everyone enjoy Lyle's live stream. I only got home at like just before midnight. And then because after going to see Dillinger Escape Plan, you don't really go straight to sleep after that because it's a little bit lively, especially after driving. So I sat up and had a beer. Didn't get to bed till about 1 AM. So I only caught the tail end of Lyle's live stream this morning. Should have gone to bed early like a good boy. All right. I might go for a walk this afternoon around the river, and then I might meet my lovely wife at the log cabin. And have dinner with her. Not actually a log cabin. It's false advertising. Durian smells like rotting organic garbage with very bad body odor. Some people think it's delicious. I think it's disgusting. Yeah, it's probably a genetic thing again. Like the coriander and like olives and stuff like that. Funnily enough, I busted my right hand index finger halfway through the first night and sprayed blood all over my telly. That's pretty rock and roll though. You play fingerstyle or with a pick, Lucas? Alright, we don't need to remove that. We can work from underneath. Unless we have to remove the main board, which I hope we don't. We should be able to work from the top. I think I had to remove everything once when all the FETs were shorted. So it's got... Let me show you what it does. Desk share. So, oh, come on. Let's go to the actual valves. Here we go. So you see there the 4 EL84s. Can we all see that? Yep. And you see on the cathode of each one, it's a stupid symbol for a cathode, but I think it's a European thing. You see the cathode has to go through a MOSFET and 1.5 ohm resistor before it can get to ground. And that 1.5 ohm resistor, it has test points, but they don't go anywhere. But it also has on this point, a line goes off, and it goes off from every one of them over to the TSC system. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's current sense for the BIOS computer. You can see here, in plus tube 1, in plus tube 2, in plus tube 3, in plus tube 4. And reference voltage, which is ground. Now this isn't an IC, this is a separate board. And if I show you on the actual unit, there's a little daughter board chilling out down the bottom there. See that one? Got a bunch of QFN packages on it. A bunch of SMD caps. Little processor and a couple of transistors down there as well. TA92 packages. So that's the BIOS computer board. And there is a schematic for that board too, which is better than like Fender and stuff. They have a similar arrangement on some of their amps. DV Mark tried it as well and fucking horrible results. But Hughes and Kettner having designed the thing themselves. I need a preview screen. They have provided the schematic for that board as well. But before we get to that, there's also control coming back from this connector. So you've got in tube, and then you've got off tube, 2, 3, 1, 4. So there's only 2 of them, 1, 4, and 2, 3. So that's the outer pair, and that's the inner pair, providing that they're labeled logically, which they may not be. So that's pin 11 and 10 on the connector there, off switch T5 to 6, T4 to 7. So I believe, okay, T4, 7. So, okay, so that 4, 7 is going to Q16 and T5, 6 is going to Q7. So they are just BC546 bipolar transistors. They're being used as a switch to switch on the MOSFET. And that is happening in pairs. So see, you've got tube, sorry about the zooming, I'm trying to do it smoothly as possible. T4, T7. And their cathodes, the MOSFETs are being switched, they're in parallel. See that one? It's got a common line to the gate. Then that goes down to Q16. So Q16 is switching those two FETs at the same time. On or off. When they're on, tube's on. When they're off, tube's off. And likewise over here. So that's what's doing... A, it's doing protection. So if anything goes wrong, it'll shut it down. And B, it's also doing your power scaling in terms of the... how many valves are running. But that doesn't get you down to the 1 watt. Because that's still push-pull. So to get you to the 1 watt, that'll get you to the 18 watt. But to get you to the 5 watt and the 1 watt and the... well, that'll also get you to the silent mode as well for the line out. Because it'll just turn off all the valves and you won't have to worry about flyback. And you can run it without a speaker plugged in because all the valves are off. Still not advised because you might forget something or inadvertently change a setting. You should always have a load attached to these. But when it's in 5 or 1 watt mode, it also switches, if I can find it, some resist orbs. FX return. Sorry, I'm going to be zooming in and out real rapidly because I'm finding something. So don't worry about it for a second. Just roll with the punches, champions. Be a bunch of relays somewhere. Let's have a look at the circuit board because I know where the parts are. Alright. So we've got 2 relays there. We've got all these parts. What are they? Where's the... Oh, that's not the circuit board layout. That's down here. Alright. So we've got a bunch of... Follow the thick leads, champions, because that'll be the speaker current. So we've got some inductors. L1, L3. They look like resistors, but they're not. And we've got some a bunch of banker resistors, and they're getting switched by rel 2. So let's look up rel 2. There we go. There's the coil. That'll be pretty boring. It's just being driven by a line coming back from the processor. What we want to find is its contacts. And there they are. Okay, so that's doing channel switching. So, was I wrong here? Why is rel 2 got heavy wires going to heavy traces going to it? Let me just backtrack on that. Oh, hang on, that's rel 2 on a here we go, up here. So they've got rel 2, multiple rel 2s, because you've got multiple boards whose component designations start at 0. That's confusing. So you've got to not think of there being one rel 2. There's 2 rel 2s in this amp, but there's 1 rel 2 on that board. So here's our dummy load, essentially, in series with some inductors, I guess, for reactivity. And there's the relays doing the switching of the dummy loads, and that will get you down without figuring out the math and everything. That'll get you down to the 5 watt and the 1 watt modes with just two of the valves in the quad running. So in summary, 4 valves running, attenuated disabled, 36 watts. 2 valves running, attenuated disabled, 18 watts. 2 valves running, attenuator half enabled, 5 watts. 2 valves running, attenuator fully enabled, 1 watt. No valves running, I guess attenuator probably disabled, 0 watts, so silent operation. I believe that's the way it all works. So it's smart, but do we really need all this? Like, just use a master volume. Anyway. So, back to the factory reset. You're learning a lot today, aren't you, champions? It can be a bit scary when you first check one of these amps out, but you just break it down into little building blocks and you should be sweet. Cool Sunday Arvo stream for the Aussie market. Bloody oath, Dave. How you going, legend? My neighbour hung out with Karen refugees? What? Karen refugees. Is it like when your neighbourhood's got a Karen and everyone like runs away? They're Karen refugees. Where's your twin, Brad, out the back eating burritos and craft beer? Yeah, arsehole gets all the fun. We do shifts. I could go for a burrito. I'm gonna stop eating so much. I've been so hungry recently. I'm trying to lose weight, not fucking put it on, but I think food can be a procrastination tool. I need to just fucking forget that I'm hungry. Brad, did you feel the earthquake or too far away? Was that the one in Queensland? Yeah, that's fucking like 1,000 kilometers away. We had one heaps far away. Oh, a bit over a year ago. Actually, almost exactly a year ago. But because of the weird way that it manifested, the waves ended up coming here, and we were standing in the back room, and earthquakes around here are fucking, they're rare as shit. Like, there's pretty much none in Sydney. We're on like solid rock, just like the song. You get some up north a bit. I wonder if it's to do with the coal mining. Don't know. But yeah, there seems to be something going on up there. I don't think it's a fault, but there's like I don't know, a magma chamber or something fucking kilometers under. They're like 8 kilometers deep, these earthquakes triggered, because they can triangulate that shit. But we were just standing in the back room. Mum and Dad were in town. I think we were like contemplating dinner or something, and I'm standing there like this against the door in the kitchen, you know, holding the wall up just for safety. And I just felt this thump, and it felt to me like someone dropped like a cubic meter chunk of concrete on the grass out the back. That's what it felt like. And the windows just went thump. And the windows rattled for a second. And I'm like, shut up, shut up, shut up. I think that was an earthquake. And they're like, and everyone's talking like, when everyone's in town, I sort of get drowned out a bit. So I usually just shut up. I know it's weird because I'm such a fucking non-stop loudmouth on YouTube, but everyone's chatting away and back and forth, and I go, shut up, shut up, shut up. I think that was an earthquake. And there was sort of like two thumps, a big one and then a smaller one. Or it was like a small one and then a big one, because I noticed it and then heard the big thump, and that was enough in my brain to figure out that I'd experienced an earthquake. And there was another one I experienced, again, about a year ago, so I guess it might have been related. We were up north at Singleton, which is, like I say, you get a bit more around Newcastle area. And I woke up early, and it was like 7 o'clock. And it sounded like the wind really picked up outside. You know, when you get a big gust of wind and it blows against the back of your house? It sounded like that. But there was no wind. I looked outside and all the leaves were still. I'm like, what the hell was that? And then I Googled it straight away, and Google recognizes where you are and gives you a localized earthquake alert. And it was really weird. Because, yeah, I've gone pretty much my whole life not having experienced any earthquakes. And then 2 in like the same couple of months. Weird. Apparently there was a big one in Newcastle back when I was like a toddler, or like I don't know, 6-year-old or something. And when it occurred, I was jumping on a trampoline, so I didn't feel it. I was very disappointed. I was like, damn it, I want to feel it. Using Ketner should call it simulclass. Early in Scotland. Time for a breakfast whiskey, Kringo Pig. Just between you and I, Gringo Pig, don't tell anyone, but I think our next holiday might be Scotland. I'll fit right in there with my fucking pale skin and my red beard. It'll only be when I talk that they go, hang on. I was in school during my first earthquake, and the teacher said, ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention. I do not control the tremors of the earth. Alright, let's do a reset to this thing. I'll just plug in the dummy load for now. Now we've got to watch the back while we're doing that, so I might lean it on its face once I've turned it on. Get my power lead. Where did my power lead go? Didn't I have it 5 seconds ago? Did I? Oh, I absent-mindedly hung it up. That's my brain telling me to go home. Power. Alright, what do I do again? To reset the amp factory default settings, press and hold MIDI learn and FX loop on buttons simultaneously. Where are they? FX loop on, MIDI learn. 5 seconds until the MIDI learn button lights up. After you release the MIDI learn button, it will flash once to confirm that it's been executed. Alright, MIDI learn button lit up and it flashed. So I guess that means it's reset. And the buttons still don't work. Okay. Let's put it in play mode. Yep, still nothing. Alright, so do we have... Turn that off. I don't think the control circuitry cares if it's in standby or not. do we have voltage at that voltage divider point? Now, I've got to work on this upside down. Can I even? I don't have any component designators to work off, and there's not many components in that area. So is there some surface mount stuff on that board? Yes, there is. Shit. All right, let's power it off. I've got to remove that board to see what I'm working on. I can't work like this, champions. Can't work under these conditions. When I worked for the city council, I had to inspect venues after earthquakes. We were at the Enmore Theatre last night, and we were looking up at the ceiling. It's very Art Deco. It's got this glass strip that goes down the middle, made out of like all white, but like lead light glass. It's like a feature, and the ceiling's been the same since it was built. And yeah, we were thinking like you'd have to like check that periodically, otherwise like glass panels falling from a great height onto people's heads would probably make the news. So there must be like periodic people checking it, and there's a lot of responsibility there. We have a lot of earthquakes here. Where are you again, Mark? You're in Alaska, are you? You enjoy a little Pootie Boys visit? My biggest shame as a geologist is that I've never felt an earthquake. Yeah, that'd kill you. New York City Geology. Man, that's a very official sounding channel. Have I got a star geologist here? Hardcore amp repairer working on a Sunday. Yeah. If I was better at my job, Dave, managing lead times and stuff, I probably would be able to have Sunday off, but I'm not. So now it's maybe 80% of my job ensuring seismic compliance. Yeah. Well, that's why you go to some venues and you see the lighting fixtures and the PAs and shit. None of them have the safety wires, and you're like, fuck, that's illegal, dude. They just get like a JBL Eon and just like hang it by the handles, and you're like, dude, that's so illegal. Don't do that. You're gonna get, your insurance won't apply, and you'll get sued and nailed to the wall if anything goes wrong. But it's a bit like a seatbelt. You got these fuckwits that don't wear seatbelts and like, oh, I've never had an accident. It's like, yeah, okay, buddy. After the 2016 Keikura quake, the 1950s entrance lobby to St. James Theatre was in worse shape than the original 1911 theatre. Huh. I'm a geologist, but definitely not a famous one. Geology's fucking interesting as, man. Would you choose the Tubemeister Deluxe 20? Well, I don't think that... I'd say make it... Oh, yeah, because... No, that's the Grandmaster Deluxe 20. The Grandmaster and the Grandmaster comes in Deluxe 20 and Deluxe 40, or Grandmaster 20 and 40. The Tubemeister comes in 18 or 36. I'm not sure if they're different voltages or if it's all marketing BS, but I believe that's the models. Or the DSL 20 for the post-hardcore thing. Well, to tell you the truth, I would not buy any of those amps. Stay away from all of them, NYC Geology. For that, if you wanted that kind of power, are you playing in a band? Because 20 watts is nowhere near enough for hardcore. You'll need at least 50 for that. But if you're just playing at home, I would get a Runt 20 Friedman. You can get one of them secondhand for less than $2,000 Australian in a combo. And much better built. Dave will stand behind the product if you have any problems. Not like a lot of these brands that just ignore you if you have issues. And much better support, and it'll last you a lifetime. Literally a lifetime. The valves might not, but the amp will. So splash a bit of extra cash and get yourself something nice, man. Otherwise, you just buy 3 of these in the same span of time, and they'll keep blowing up on you. These are, for the complexity that, I don't want to shit on the Hughes and Kettner Tubemeister Grandmaster series. For what they've set out to achieve, what the marketing department told them to do, they've done a fantastic job. You could not do it any other way. They've done a really good job, but those constraints are so constraining that you're left with an amp that's just too much packed into it, man. The angry pixies need room to move, champions. and you pack too many parts next to each other and shit's gonna fucking eventually boil over. Anyway, I'm talking shit again. I'm rambling. Removing the board. That's what I was doing. Check for voltages. Check for ground point. Oh, right there. 1.2 volts. Where's the EL84s up the back? Oh, hiccups. Yeah, very complicated amp. I'd steer away from one of these if I could. Post-hardcore, you just need something with moderate gain or a decent amount of gain. And something with a modern voicing. You could go like a I'm not gonna advise that one. A 5153 would work, but again, not super reliable and a lot of shit packed into a small package. Just get a runt. One Hughes and Kettner that I really liked was the Statesman. It was built like a brick shithouse, and there's not many around, and they're not very popular, so if you find them, they're usually reasonably cheap. And the Warp T, which is really good for that style of music in the Hughes and Kettners, and they're a lot bigger, a lot less shit going on. What the fuck you witting around with there, boss? This is a Hughes and Kettner, mate, but there is a feature that can enlighten you on everything in my streams, and it's called Rewind. Go back to the start of the stream. The reason the vintage Marshall and Fender amps are so good is no frou-frou technology crapola. Yeah, pretty much. They're built like brick shithouses. They're a lot bigger than they have to be, and everything's got room to move. And a lot of stuff was hardwired. Now that isn't as critical if you're not touring. Like, you can baby an amp and get away with it. The biggest issue is buying a second-hand amp from anything in the last 30 or 40 years is usually the shitty low-voltage power supply overheating the board and causing damage. Just joining now. Yeah, well, you know, let me personally stop my stream and bring you up to date, Cuckoo Gear Kook. Alright, mate. Glad to have you here. I'm just putting shit on you. You're a poo hook. Beard hair. Getting to that point where the mustache is so long that you think it's a loose hair, but it's actually an attached one that's halfway down your throat. Let's remove this rear board. What do we got to do that? We've got a ribbon cable there. We've got a couple of cable ties, which I might cut just for a bit of clearance. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 jacks. We've got an XLR. We've got a knob and another jack. All right. My band leans that way. I use a 2204 style thing I built myself. Yeah, 2204 would be fantastic. Maybe a little bit vintage voiced for modern stuff. So yeah, his next suggestion, maybe a Dirty Shirley with a bit more gain and some heavier bottom end to it would get you there. A Dirty Shirley would be fucking fantastic, but they obviously cost a lot more if you're just buying one off the shelf. The Runt 20 or Runt 50 is a bit more cost effective, I believe, and we'll get you there as well. Similarly voiced, a bit different, but same concept. Is that a number 2 Phillips? Yep. going to wear the Casio today, but every time I look at the Seiko, I just want to put it on. I'll go back to the Casio through the week. It's a bit silly wearing this heavy-ish thing while I'm working. Buy once, cry once. Yeah, well, there you go. Let's have a look at what Freeman Runt. So, are you playing in a band? I missed if you did say NYC. Are you playing in a band live, or in a rehearsal space, or are you just practicing at home? Let's see what they're going for on the second-hand market. Runt 50s are, yeah, they're a little bit exy. New anyway. But, like you said, buy once, cry once. Where's eBay? Come here, eBay. Alright, brand new Runt 50 heads going for about $3,000 Australian, so that's like 1,500 American, 1,800 American, something like that. So under $2,000 American. What about combo? Okay, so the Runt 20 combo going for about 2,600 Australian, so that's about 1,500 American for the combo, the 20. Same deal for the Runt 20 head. The head's going for about $300 less Australian than the combo. But they're brand new. Yeah, have a look in the second-hand market, because they are built like brick shit houses. You can safely buy a second-hander and you should be right. Mostly playing at home, but I do jam with some friends, bass and drums a couple of times a month. A couple of times a month, a fair bit. So you might want to lean towards a 50 watter. Are they heavy hitters? If you're playing post-hardcore, I'd imagine you're going to have a pretty hectic bass player and possibly down-tuned. Post-hardcore. Post-hardcore. Just trying to think of a band that would apply. Alrighty then. Let's get this in a position where we can power it up and I can take some voltage measurements. JMP 2203, 2204 and JCM 800 seem to be great buys. Well, they're getting pretty expensive over here, especially the JMP 2203, 2204s. Just because they look cool. Ooh, sneaky, sneaky. Hidden washer. Crouching dragon. Yeah, so we've got a bunch of surface mount on here. That's why I'm like, where's the resistors? There's no resistor leads there. It's all surface mount, bro. So our attention area is over here. We've got the bunch of relays for the dummy loads. You got your LEDs for the TSC or whatever the fuck they call it, the calculator, tube bias computer, whatever. So everything's a little bit crowded. If we want to get down to those caps down there, if we need to replace anything, we're gonna have to remove the switches first. Good fun, eh? I can't hear my 40 watt over my drummer. He's a maniac. He's also the other guy playing 2 shows a night for the next month. Yeah, you need to like put it on a kickback stand and just point it at your head. Or get in-ears. Alright, let's go back to the schematic. It's a bit intimidating, but we haven't got time to fuck around. Switches. There's our bias divider. So we're talking R64, R65, 66, 67. R64, R65, R66, and 67 are tiny little surface mount things down the bottom. Let's just check their resistance. In circuit, we're probably going to get some funny measurements. It'll appear to be lower than it is, but it shouldn't be open circuit. Oh, okay, so it's normally closed. It's showing it. Yeah, okay, so the switches are normally closed. And when you press them, it should... Oh, this is really hard. I need a block of wood or something to put under it because it's moving when I try to press it. Perfect. Yep, and it's going to open circuit, so 1K. Yep, R64 is 1K. R65, 1K. Interesting. R66 isn't changing. It's reading 1K. However, that's the one button that was working. What? Okay, so R66's state isn't changing with the button press. But didn't we just test the switch? Oh, hang on, I'm measuring... Am I measuring the right resistor? Yeah. Okay, that's a clue. All the other resistors are working as they should. So I'll just tell you what I'm rambling about. What did you blow up this day? No, I didn't blow up anything. I got my little mate over my shoulder here, though. Tickle, wickle, wickle! Looks good with the lens out of focus, doesn't it? Desk chair. Right, so see these switches in their normal state. This is showing their normal state, the resting state. So I'm measuring 0 ohms across R64 because that contact is shorting it out, see? Same goes with R65 and same goes with R67. But R66 is reading 1K from this point to that point no matter what I do with the switch. However, R66 is attached to the one switch which is functioning. So how does that compute? Wait, what's this even doing? I thought it was a divider, but what we're actually looking at, just looking at it now, a bit more in depth, these resistors going to ground are what's determining that voltage. These are attached to ground. Ah. So what the fuck's that doing? So you've got a set divider there. If you press any of those switches. Oh wait, is that like an address line? You press any of those switches and it's going to change the voltage here. Now, when they're all not being operated, so that in their resting state, you've got a direct connection to ground. See? You've got this transistor turned off, cause via that switch, via this switch, via this switch, via that switch, you've got a direct connection to ground. If you click any of these, now you've got 1K to ground. So that brings this voltage closer to 5 volts away from ground. It probably turns that transistor on. Well, yeah, it would turn that transistor on. But then that's connected directly to ground. So that would pull that line down. I think I need to frown at this for a while. That's a weird way of doing it. I'm sure they got their reasons. I'm just too dumb to understand them. Point being, this element of this switch, 4 to 6, doesn't appear to be working. Let's just double check that, because I thought I checked them all. Yeah. Alright, so that switch is reading 930 ohms, where it should be reading 0 ohms, as the others are. We've got a faulty switch that's causing all the... We've got a faulty switch which is causing all the switches other than itself not to work. Damn! Alright, well now I've got to find that switch. So that is a illuminated switch. It feels a bit crunchy to operate too. So I think we've found it, champions. Well, now all of this seems overly complicated. Yes, it does, Rob. Like old school Christmas lights. Yeah, true. One of them fails, it takes all the others out with it. Except in this case, that one's working. This seems dumb how they do it, but I get it. Each switch creates a specific voltage which a microcontroller reads. Yeah, I just don't know what they're doing with that extra transistor. And is that like a constant current? I don't know. I'm too dumb. I gotta stand there and stare at it for a bit. I told you guys I'm not smart. Just a dickhead with a soldering iron and a meter. So let's have a quick little boo online. Let's see if we can find that switch. Let's just start in idiot mode. Hughes and illuminated push button. No es bueno. Using kit switch. I've got mates that could get me one. Replacement switch? It's just giving me foot switches now. How do I phrase this? Oh, it's giving me my own fucking video results. Using Kettner Grandmeister 36. Oh, they do make a Grandmeister 36. I thought it was Grandmeister 40. Okay, I was wrong. Replacement push button, maybe? No. Nice area, tube master, replacement button. That really sucks when you go looking for information and Google responds with one of my videos. I'm like, it's not going to help. It's just giving me foot switches now. Ooh, Keld Antworks. I'll talk to Rowan and maybe he might actually, he's got a page here. Let's have a look at that. Keld Antworks is my mate Rowan in the UK, in the UK. He's in the UK. I wanted to do a Tube Meister repair since they came out a few years back. I guess it's a testament to the general quality, that this is the first to appear on the bench. Yeah, fair play. They did come out in like 2015. We're only just starting to see a few now. They're like 10 years old. 3 channels MIDI switching for an amp, 550-ish pounds. There's a lot of bang for your buck. Yeah. However, the owner was more worried about a different kind of bang, the flash behind V1 when he flicked the standby switch. Afterwards, the amp wasn't making any sound at all. So yeah, this is the more common failure of these, where just a bad valve takes out stuff and takes out, well, might have taken out the TSC in this case. How about we read it, champions? Using service manuals are easily the most detailed of any modern manufacturers I've seen. Yep. Honourable mention goes to Roland/Boss. I'd also say Yamaha's probably the best of the best. But this wasn't needed to disassemble a chassis and get it back to the PCB. It's a bit of a flex there, Rowan. I don't need no service manual. The chassis is all metal, which reduces weight and size. There's a bent metal lid. So, okay, he's just describing it. Using Kettner TSC can occasionally fail and show up an error code on the TSC lights. The parts must then be replaced with these parts, and he's got a product link. But that wasn't necessary here. I discovered the HT fuse had blown, which accounts for the bang the player heard. The valves all tested good, but since the TSC turns on the power tubes via... Stop switching between valves and tubes. That's my job. But since the TSC turns the power tubes using a FET, field effect transistor, in the cathode, I strongly suspected the power valves. After replacing the valves and the fuse, the amp came back to life. End of story. So he sells the FETs. Okay. He doesn't say what they are, so you can't get them from Mouser. You sneaky bugger, Rowan. Steering people towards your website when I can clearly see that it's a GKOKRV5. I don't know. Hang on. I'm reading it upside down. It's a 13NM60N GKOKR. Yeah, of course it is. That's what I said. Well, I don't think I'm going to find that switch without doing the Google foo dance. Going into Mouser, measuring the thing, finding something that's characteristic is specified in the parameters, and hoping shit is one available. Still talk to 6. Yeah, haven't seen you guys do any streams together in a while. Yeah, he's been having problems with his internet. You can't get it connected where he is, and the provider's fucking him around. So obviously that stands in the way of doing a live stream. But yeah, he popped into the shop the other day. I've got one of his guitars here. I did something to another one for him, and he just picked it up. Did some machining that he didn't have the tools for. I was going to catch up with him last week. We were going to go in the city and grab some fucking sushi or some shit, but yeah, it didn't end up working out time-wise. D-bounce thing. Yeah, could be. Could be a D-bouncer. I think the push button might... Oh, the service manual. I get so used to not having any useful information in the service manual, I forgot about. Hughes and Kettner being thorough German people. Let's have a look. It's got part numbers. Holy shit, it's right there. Wow. Is that a part number? WPM resume. Let's have a look. Hughes and Kettner. No. Trampoline guards. Mid-rise tight shorts. How would I look in them, champions? I don't know. I don't think they go with my eyes. We could get a trampoline and forget about the amp. Let's keep looking. Well, you just gave me the code there, so can I just... Where'd you find that in the service manual? The valve is inside the tube. Yeah, I guess so. Oh, okay. You don't find any reference to it online. You still have your green LTD? Yeah, it's just hanging up. Oh, it's hanging up in front of the amps because I was testing a head with it the other day when a customer picked it up. So if you type in illuminated push button, you're going to get 5 billion answers. Now, if you measure the switch, do you have to take off the plunger? Maybe I can measure the height. Let's go to Mouser. Let's go Mouser. Mouser hunting. Eliminated products, electromechanical swatches. Push button switches. There's only 76,625 of them. Illuminated. Oh, now there's only, we just cut it in half. Now there's only 31,000. Let me show you desk share. Hang on. Now there's only 31,000. So dual pole, dual throw. Now there's only 5,700. PCB mount. I'm not sure if that's snapping or not. Doesn't look like it, but you never know. All right, now there's only 1,200 now. So let's LED. Yep, it's not incandescent. That didn't take many off. Voltage rating, I don't know. Alright, well, let's hit that up. Apply filters. And maybe some other filters will come up. Yep, excellent. Now, where can I enter sizes? Smart filtering? No? Yes? Oh! Is that it? Oh, fucking hell. Don't tell me it's the 4th result. Or at least the series. I think that's it. No. Yeah, it is. $5 each. Let's get the data sheet. That one's green, but maybe they want a custom finish. Yeah, that's the fucking one. It's an E-switch. Is this an E-switch? This is a WV something. All right, let's do some measurements. Just don't get too excited just yet. Okay, so the width is 9 millimeters. 9 millimeters. The length to the back of the spring is 23.2. Just hit my head on the shelf. 23.2. That's our fucking Switch, champions. Blue LED. Well, I want an amber one, but we know the series now, so I'll show you another trick. Now we know the series. WB. WBL. Why is there an L? Illumination color yellow. 2 results. If the cap's not the right color, we can just swap it off with one that is. 31 expected in November. Shit. That could be a problem. If we want the exact type, same color and everything. But this WBL is curious. This has got me wondering if there's another very similar series. Because if you have a look, if Penny Boy stops trying to focus where my head was, and we look closely, you can see there's just a WB, not a WBL. So there might be a WB series. So let's have a look. Let's save that because, well, how about I just add one to the cart? Just so I know what it is. Continue shopping. Push button switches. Now we've got every one under the sun, but you can just go over here and scroll down now that we know and choose just the WB series. 35 results. Oh, hang on. Non-illuminated. Non-illuminated only. Does L mean illuminated? So it's a WB body, but the illumination makes it a WBL. See that? Huh. Okay, well, let's go back. Apply filter. Look at the other options. 20 amp? Really? What's the 20 amp push switch button push switch for a PCB look like? I'm curious now. It looks the same. I think that might be a typo. You do find typos all the time in Mouser and DigiKey and stuff, and it ends up in the wrong category. Yeah, current rating 20 amps. Don't think so, because then you come over here, 300 milliamp, 30 volt DC. So yeah, that's definitely a typo. So we can delete that and just disregard that parameter because that's wrong. So we've only got 2 in yellow. So we might have to change the color of it. Just change the color of that one. So do we want to get a blue one and put it in the silent one position or something? Something fancy? Since the yellow one's unavailable till November. Let's change it to in stock. Apply filters. That's gone down to 15 instead of 44. So what have we got to look at now, champions? These are all in stock. And we've got no yellow. We've either got blue or green. So that's probably a different type of switch if it's got the ability to be 2 colors. So we've got blue, green, or red to choose from. So, you know what, I could be a smart ass and go to the customer and go, I found the switch. What color would you like? There's blue, green, or red. And you'll probably say, I don't give a fuck. L for light. Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, that's what I reckon. Dre Stolittle. How do I say your name? Can you remind me? Now, $5 for one of those switches. And that will probably solve all the problems with this amp, because there's no problems with the output stage. I'm glad we found that. I feel like a fucking professional now on a Sunday afternoon. We've still got half an hour before I should go for a walk, although I could go for a walk now. 4:30. Yeah, I might go for a walk. Pack up now. I feel like leaving on a high, champions, because that was a good little diagnosis session. Dry stool. Hey, you gotta drink more water, bro. I don't know. Do you guys want to do something for 15 minutes? What do we want to do? Start a poll? Speaking of poll. So immature. So Lyle was saying my video was looking a bit soap opera-y yesterday. Saying the shutter speed was a bit too fast and it looked a bit no motion blur sort of setup. Now, I'm at 100 frames a second at the moment. If I go back to 50, it's going to get brighter, obviously, but does that look better? Because you said there was some frame skipping too, and I did notice that, but it seemed to go away when I went live. I'll have a look at this later and on YouTube, but one thing I noticed with YouTube is when I upload a video that I've filmed and edited and upload the file, it goes to 1080p 50 frames a second, which is what we use here in Australia because we're 50 frames a second. We've got the PAL system over here. The PAL system, you know. Never walk home from the pub alone. You'll end up on someone's grass having a nap. But in the US, you're on NTSC, which is based on 60 hertz mains. Now, when I do a live stream, it defaults to, even though I'm outputting 50 frames a second, YouTube says it's 1080p 60. So I've got to look into whether or not for live streams I have to change my whole setup to NTSC, which is doable. You can just change the setting on the camera and then change it to 60 frames a second instead of 50. Or if there's a setting that I can change and figure it out. So I might have to do a bit of research and see if anyone else has run into this. I'm sure there'd be documentation about it out there. Everyone's trying to get better and better quality. I think we've come a long way with the video quality on this channel, but there's always room to improve, like getting rid of the oscilloscope edge there. Zooming in a bit. The oscilloscope channel 1 dropped out yesterday. No beam. That's another thing to fix. I don't know if I fix it or just go for a Rigol with the HDMI output, so I can show you guys a scope readout if I'm tracing signal, that kind of thing, or playing with voicing, or try DigiKey. That's a good idea, Seth. Let's do that right now. I didn't even think of that. Now we've got a part number. That's probably going to be November before I get back around to fixing the fucking thing anyway, but... Illumination. Yellow. Apply filter. Okay. I can buy 1,000 of them. $3.92 each. $3,920 worth of using Kettner switches. You know what? I should sell these on my website. Do the Rowan trick. Buy them for $5 each, sell them for $20 each on my website, and just don't publish the part number. But all you champions would bloody let the cat out of the bag, wouldn't you? Alright, desk share. Right, we've got the manufacturer part number. There it is. Copy. Let's just do a Google search for it. Alright, DigiKey's got it. Looks like that's the eSwitch manufacturer's site. RS. Ooh, can I get one overnight? Farnell. Does anyone remember when Farnell used to make the what the fuck is the go with RS? Minimum quantity 1008. Like you can't order 1,000. That you have to order 1,008 because they come in multiples of 84. It must be because they're in trays, I guess. That's so weird. Alright, so RS is rat shit as usual. Useless fucks. That's the old mouse link. In stock. 613. Hang on. That's yellow. It says color actuator cap clear, but then it clearly shows that it's yellow. I don't know. If it is yellow, I can probably just use this one. Does that come off? Ah, no it doesn't. Okay. Because that goes down into the mechanismo. You know what might be fun, champions? Let's see if I can fix the switch. I'll still replace it, but just to confirm that everything works as it should. Get on my little 0.8mm tip in the pacey boy. And pace yourself. Looks a bit weird zoomed in that far, doesn't it? But then you see the underside of the shelf. Anyway. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Imagine if they photographed every product. The only problem is every time I assume that the exact thing that they've pictured turns up. And I think, it's just a stock photo. We'll be right. And then, yeah, exactly what is photographed is what turns up. And I'm like, damn it. There we go. That's better, isn't it? No scope lead up in the corner there. No light over there. Split the difference. Zoom in a little bit and tilt it downwards. That's better. Alright, well, I'll fire off a DigiKey order. Along with some other bits and pieces I need. I've got heaps of amps to assess still, man. There's literally a pile as tall as me of amps over there that I need to sort out. There's like 3 2203 JMP heads, 2 super leads, fucking a bunch of PV solid state stuff, some solid state base heads. We've got a Super 210, which is a red knob valve fender. We've got another DT25, which is failed in the same manner they all seem to, which is the relays changing the cathode configuration of the output stage, sticking and failing. So I might do a video on that one since it seems to be a recurring problem for 2 reasons. So I can help people out fixing it. And the other reason, so it'll get a lot of video hits, because if it happens to every amp that's out there, there'll be a lot of people looking for answers. CTS was like that. Potentiometers, weird quantities like 633 for one odd value and 1257 for another. Yeah, it could be that they just want to get them all done, because you know picking and packing stuff takes time, and time is money, eh? But I think in the case of that one, it'd be the weird tray quantities. Like the trays would be like, but yeah, even that doesn't make sense. What? How would a tray be like 84? I don't know. Weird geometry. Yeah, cross-check with the manufacturer's part selection tool, or just the last resort. Well, it's what you should be doing every time is actually passing the code of the pass PARSE, the code of the component, and cross-checking that via the data sheet, because all the specifications will be specified. Each letter has a role, each letter a number, and when you go down, it's like, oh, if there's an A there, it's clear. If there's a B there, it's whatever color the switch is, the LED is, or whatever. All right. Bit of solder. Yeah, I think I've got these switches in stock, but just not illuminated. Might not be the same length, though. That's fun when it's a 26-digit part number. Rax Effects, how you going, legend? Let's give you some actual camera view, eh? If I'm forgetting like the camera view and it's looking shit, or I'm forgetting to frame something, just see if you can find a little emoji of a camera to post. Just to remind me to get my camera kung fu on. Maybe put a camera in Ninja. Isn't kung fu Chinese though? I can't remember. It'd be nice to have a massive monitor here, so I'm always in my face as what I'm broadcasting on it, so I can see straight away if something's looking silly. So just getting rid of the lead-free solder, put some leaded stuff on there because it's got a lower melting temp. Mix that with the remaining solder residue, and it should come out a lot easier. You don't want to put undue stress on the pads or the through-hole plating because it'll rip it out and then you'll have other problems to deal with. Just sort of wiggle the lead around until it starts moving, and then you know the solder's molten. Chris, how you going? What's crack-a-lackin', as we say over here? Still two leads that are holding on. Can be fun if something's attached to a ground plane. Something like that. Late night streams. Yeah. It's pretty early here. It's not even 5 yet, but over there it's not. For all you insomniacs out there. Nope, we're free now. Just really don't want to push stuff and cause damage in that area. Alright, so there's our 3 pins per pole for the switch, and then you got an LED up the front. And it's kind enough to show you the polarity. That's good of them. You can sort of make it out there. It's probably a bit too bright. Going okay, trying to be a good boy. What, you trying not to get on the piss, mate? Trying not to get on the tips. So for shits and giggles, for schnitz and pickles, let's see if we can repair this thing. Ooh, looks like corrosion there. Is this a victim of a spillage? Or is this inadequate factory cleanup of flux? It could be corrosion. So have a look here. This is right down to the fucking nitty gritty now. See here? A bit of discoloration on the board. Like fluid spill. Just having a look at the other ones, the other switches, and they look cleaner. You can see here. Penny boy. Let's try again, shall we, Penny boy? There you go, mate. You can see there's a bit of fucking shmoo growing out of the lead in that area. So I reckon we take that apart and we find that at some point it's had fluid spill or factory residues not correctly cleaned off. That's probably what's caused it. I love it when you find something that's actually got a pinpointable cause rather than random intermittent problems that I can't pin down. Chris, hey Brad, still working on that JTM30 here. Oh Jesus, various blown diodes, Fred rectifier done, success until red plate. No bias voltage at all, really. Some more diodes on the way. Dual PCB design is getting quite annoying. So diodes, you sure, mate? JTM30. Let's have a look at the schematic. Marshall. Is that a capacitively coupled one? I can't remember. Why is my camera not charging? Inadequate juice. Starting to get dark. Marshall, as our mate Johan says it. I gotta watch his videos again. I like him. He's a cool guy. Seems like a big friendly bear. Did you say JTM 30? Was it? Yeah, JTM 30. Terry, how you going, legend? What's going on, mate? What's going on, mate? What are you fucking talking about? What are you talking about? Well, just wait for that to download. Let's help out Chris. JTM 30 in it. All right, JTM 30. That's a shitty schematic, isn't it? And that's front end, and that's the tail end. Right, so you just work your way back from the grid. So you've got grid stopper, 1.5K. That's your signal coming from your phase inverter. That's your signal coming from your phase inverter. Grid stopper. Bias feed resistors, 220K. They are attached to filter cap, 10 microfarad, 100 volt. And a divider, 100K to ground. And you've also got, there's your rectifier, 1N4007. And your bias is regulated by a string of Zeniths, which is a fucking weird and dumb way of doing it. So what hang on. The plot thickens. So up here, we've got AC coming out. Of the, oh man, why do they do this with all the lines? It's so fucking hard to read. Here's the bias feed. Okay, so you're attached to the 325 volt tap. Where's this wire go? Standby switch. So are you always on? So anyway, point being, you want to look closely at this cap too. So this is capacitively coupled bias supply. It's a way of lowering the voltage from the HT down to a more manageable level before rectifying the bias supply and regulating it with those Zeniths. What I would do is convert this, if possible, back to like a more traditional Marshall style. You can still capacitively couple it if you like, or you could go sort of like a Princeton style one, directly coupled. But if you do go capacitively coupled, just get a higher quality capacitor in there, higher voltage rating. Not Not sure why those always fail. I think spikes just start to attack the foil and they self-heal, and then eventually the capacitance drops. And then you get less voltage there, and then it runs away in red plates. So I reckon you'll probably find this cap has gone open circuit, so not 47 nano. It'd be a lot of work for one of these to short to ground, but even if one did, if one went short circuit, now your voltage is much lower. You could replace them with one Zener that's a higher voltage, or just replace it with a typical, replace that with a trim pot and an adjustable divider, essentially. And yeah, I'm not sure why they did that. I've never seen anyone else do that. There's probably others that do, but yeah, that's a bit weird. You'd think that just a resistive divider would be enough. Yeah, I'd probably just dump the idea of the diodes, the Zeners. You need this diode, of course. Just dump the Zeners and you'd have to do a bit of a test, but probably just start with basically what's in a like a 2204, 2203. But that being circuit boarded is a bit yeah, it fails by design. Yeah, it's self-healing, so as it loses film, as it loses foil, like from soft arcing, I guess, it literally is designed to vaporize bits of the foil, so it doesn't short out across the mains. It's an X class, so it's supposed to go across the two thingies of the stuff, the two mains terminals for filtering. And class Y is supposed to go to ground. Just made a loaf of sourdough. Looking forward to some grilled cheese in a bit. Nice. Yeah, where is Victor? He must be enjoying life instead of watching me being a weirdo. Alright, so can we fix this thing? Just for shits and giggles. Alright, so you got your spring. Your two little, I got a feeling it's gonna explode as soon as I release one of the little catches. As AVE says, little springing, springing all over the place. Ah, the other one clipped back on. Nah. Oop. We got open sesame. That clip's gone back on. You remove one and the other one goes back. Damn it. A little bit frustrating. Oh, that felt like a more positive change. There's one at the back too. Let's just work these out a bit more. There we go. Alright, so you got to try not to disturb these, or not to have these little copper looking chooches going flying across the stratosphere. So I'll just get some tweezers. I think we're out of plier territory and we're in tweezer territory now. We're in bat country. See you, Chris. Will it chooch? I think it will chooch. I feel in my heart that we will see chooch. See the corrosion there I was talking about? It's gone through the plastic. Joe, how you going, legend? What's happening? Welcome to the fray. Now, I've got these little chooches. Jonard Tools, Burnisher Files. You know what, champions? This will probably be adequate as a proper fix, because once we put a bit of cleaner lube on there, which it doesn't have from the factory, it's probably going to fucking work for ages. Nothing like a bit of microsurgery. Mend at Mark episode. If only I did his numbers though. He gets a lot of people on his channel. Good on him. I'd probably get accused of being a hack for repairing a switch rather than replacing it. Although some people seem to like that shit. I prefer to replace stuff because it's like new then. And the customer can have confidence that it's replaced with a part that's the same condition as it was from the factory. Y'all ever experienced this? A Blues Junior with uncontrollable oscillation? Yes. Testing the tubes V1. V1 is hot as fuck. Testing 140, 100% replaced with 100, now it's all good. Yeah. So Blues Juniors are on the verge of oscillation at any given time. So you chuck a shit ton more gain at the front end, and I'd say, yeah, she would fire off a bit quicker. I have been able to fix them by just changing the lead dress around the phase, around the output valves, or moving the grid stoppers to the valve base, like right on there, cutting traces and shit. That can help too, but generally just rerouting shit sorts it out. This is really mild, this little burnisher. It's like fucking 5,000 grit. It's doing almost nothing. It is working, but it's just slow. I have an old Tektronix tape deck that needs this sort of switch revival. Yeah, sometimes for the vintage stuff, you really got no choice. You gotta, you gotta roll your sleeves up and go, oh, no one's made anything in that form factor for the last 40 years, and any new old stock switches would have to be taken apart and cleaned too. So, but yeah, this being actual like corrosion from some kind of spillage, it's a bit of a weird one, especially since it's on the back of the amp. It could have been something splashed on the back and just soaked in through the button, but it's really localized, like it was there before the switch was installed in the factory. Yeah, they're coming up good now, nice and shiny. Champions, champions. I think this amp's gonna work now. It is tempting to just button it up and send it out. Instead of waiting for a switch. Now, these will be corroded as well. So, should be able to pass the little burnisher. Yeah, check it out, y'all. Bit of microsurgery. Because it's so gentle, like 5,000 grit or something, should be fine. Employee spittle. Maybe. They probably would have been manually placed, those switches, actually. Could have been, yeah. Could have been someone having a Coke. Something acidic. Like a soft drink. Vape juice. Does anyone here vape? Surely. I mean, how many viewers have we got? We've got, what? 50 viewers. We were only at about 30 before. I guess everyone's going home and getting in the warm. There's our little LED. That would be easy to change that color actually. Just pop whatever one you want in there. Sweet. Just a standard 3mm water clear lens LED. Alright, one terminal back on. See, if I was smart and not ADD, I would have made a video on this and start doing mended mark numbers. Ah, you fucker. See, because these things are springs. They want to go flying across the room and we have to not let them, champions. Ah. Alright, we're on. We're in like Flynn. We're on like Flon. Alright, so these can be 4-pole, 4-throw. Let's put it towards the back of that pole. So see how there's 6 contacts. There's only 2 of these little fuckers. Well, here's the other 2 poles down here with their 2 throws either side. And when you look at the actuator, it's got 4 little slots. So the 4-pole ones will have the pins inserted on these, which it doesn't in this version. And they'll have 2 more little contacts inside there. So what we can do is put this on, and because we can see it, we can tell where we are. Actually, it wants to be towards the front because then I don't have to push the spring back as far. Before we do that, I might just give it a... No, I don't want to get shit on my hands while I'm assembling it. I'll lube it once it's together. Gotcha. These are little captive contacts there. I vape unashamedly, so too. I've been vaping since 2010. Wow. I got off of cigarettes, never looking back. Vape for a bit thinking it would help me quit smoking. Not a chance. Way more addictive than smoking and made me feel worse. Really? I use vape to break the habit, cig habit, decrease nicotine content until I hit 0. I quit about 8 years ago. Good for you, man. Those contacts look great to me. The wiper's looking really good. I had to sit through all day meeting about spittle on a microchip PIC chip. Those idiots had launched into orbit. Launched into orbit. Like on a satellite. Alright, that goes under the spring and springen. And click the back one in satisfyingly. Click that one in, yep. She's back together. I'll just use a bit of wire brush just to get rid of the rest of that residue. There'll still be some captured. Look how big the wire brush looks, and this is my little one. It just shows the size of the things I'm working on. Just to get the residue stuff off. And a bit of lube. Clean lubricant. Lubricant. Sparing. Just trying to figure out why vaping, because like if you smoke a cigarette, it's because you want to punch in the throat. But then you got these big tough guys vaping, like that. There's a jail around the corner here, and Shell was getting a car the other day, and there's these guys with the ankle bracelets on, like day release or whatever. And they're big, tough-looking, tattooed fuckers. But then they're vaping, and she smelled it on the wind, and it was like the most sweet, sickly sweet strawberry-smelling shit. Just trying to figure out what the attraction is behind breathing in sugar. I don't know. I've never vaped. And I have had the the shisha at the like kebab shop, which is pretty similar, I guess, a bit. Vapes can kick way harder than cigs. Well, I guess they can just put as much nicotine in there as they want, but isn't it like the other shit, like the tar and stuff, that also gives you head spins when you smoke a cigarette? Like, it's not just nicotine. It's like all the other fucked up aromatics that... Alrighty then, let's give it a test. That's good. We didn't have to do any real troubleshooting. We did a bit, but... Do we get cocky and put all the screws in? Yeah, let's get cocky. Oh, I gotta put the washers back on. Alright, so there was a bit of a weird setup to these washers. The plastic first, then it had a metal one. I guess because the spacing's just required. Could have just repositioned your footprint on the circuit board, champion. But I guess you got to be a certain distance away because the rear panel's not thick enough. And there was a silver one. Because the silver one's loose, they held that captive with another plastic one. It's not breathing in sugar, bro. Most vapes use sweeteners which are approved for vaping, such as sucralose. Huh. Okay. I'm pretty sure when you smoke the shisha, though, it's just sugar. Is it? I don't know. The shisha? The gila? I think they call it different names depending where you are. Don't want to pinch any wires. Oh, there's a wire waiting to be pinched there. Red box. Means you got to use some moisturizer. Or go to the doctor. Your box is red. The red box. Like I get why some professions like chefs smoke, because you need that just 5 minutes out of the kitchen just to regroup, and I get that really stressful thing. People will make up any excuse to do stupid shit. True. Spent about half my life doing that, making up excuses to do stupid shit. Alrighty then. Hey, Six. Speaking of the devil, how you going, legend? It's a bit shitty not having a nut on that reverb pot, but when in Rome. All right, plastic screws. Plastic screw. People in the US need fucking fat breaks. What? Well, they need to have a wank. What do you mean? I'd be all for that. Talk to your union about fat breaks. Today. Hey, Mad Techie. How you going, legend? I think I might have just fixed an amp. Time will tell. Dummy load. Power on. Bang. Bro. Brah. We're back. Feels good. Fixing shit, yo. Oh, that felt a bit twiggy there. Yeah, okay. I think it's a little... Yeah, I think I'll still replace those switches, but that confirms. Pretty easy to get it out. So, I'm punishing the poor little amp. Let's put it into... Well, I guess you probably want to hear it now, don't you? Can we run it upside down? Can we run it back to front? This way? Try not to shock myself. Put it on blocks. Let's give it 16 ohms. 16. I like that. It goes into protection mode when you unplug the speaker. It diverts all its power to the dummy. It does look pretty, doesn't it? I think I quit smoking all those years ago, 40 plus a day. Jesus, that's a lot. How'd you have time to do anything else? These people that smoke 2 packs a day, it's like, well, fucking, when do you do work? Do we have a Motu? No, we don't. I'll just plug in the Motu. Ding, ding. We have Motu. All right. You watch. I'll take it out of standby. It'll catch fire. What happens when you get cocky? Alright, let's turn everything to 12 o'clock. Maybe not the masters. I'm not going to give you a full rundown of the thing. We'll just check all the functions work. Channel switching. Sweet as bro. Master, master, master. Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. Oh, I've got no guitar picks. They're in my jeans. Better. The bottom's still off it, so we'll be a bit careful. Watch the current draw from the wall. A little bit of a hum there for a second. It went up to 100 watts. Inrush plus the computer figuring out shit. You'd think it would start from the most negative and work its way up, wouldn't you? But so it's sitting at 70 watts now, which is what it was before. Remember when we were that age, we could smoke in pubs? Yeah. It wasn't that hard to step out of where I work for a smoko, plus I'd have like 3 or 4 in a 15-minute period, White Ox with no filter. Jesus, I'm surprised you lived through it despite quitting. I'll just mute my mic for a sec. So that's 36 watt mode. Let's go to 18 and then 5 and then 1. Alright, let's crank that up a bit. Master all the way. That's 36 watt mode. We'll work our way back down again. Don't mind the buzzing, I'm just single coils. So you can hear there how little difference there is by halving the output power. And this is what I try to tell people. You only lose about 3 dB. You need to like divide it by 10 to have a noticeable difference. That's why I'm not a big fan of the triode pentode switch. I like to actually severely cripple it if you're going to have an attenuation. It's got to be in the order of like, yeah, like 1/10 of the power. And then you get about half the perceived difference. So I'll go back to 36 again, and then we'll go to 5 watts. Now I'm not changing the gain here, so you're getting a sense of the actual overall loudness, plus probably reduction in headroom as well. Yeah, it is incredibly bright, and this doesn't have 500k pots. It's a really bright amp with everything at 12 o'clock. So let's tame that. So that's treble all the way down, and it's still like too bright in my opinion. So that's crazy bright. I don't remember the last one being that bright, but I'll have to go back and listen to the samples if I did any on that last video. That was a Grandmeister, but I think they're pretty similar. Alright, it works. Oh, you hate it. You hate it. I turned the tone down on the guitar towards the end there. You'll live. I love a Strat with a big gain. Horses for courses, mate. Don't you like Mossy? Get fucked. Don't you like Hendrix? Don't you like Clapton? Don't you like fucking anything? So, successful champions. It's pretty tempting to send that out. But I might get that switch on the next order and swap them out. All it's missing is an MT2, yeah. It is pretty harsh on the clean, and the crunch, you can hear there's a bit of filtering going on there. Thank fuck. But yeah, it's a bit of a bitey amp. You'd probably want some darker speakers to go with it, would tame it out a bit, like a fucking Swamp Thing or something. Oh, you know, that's a 150 watt speaker, but something a bit darker is what I'm telling you. Are you getting what I'm telling you, champions? Ooh, it's nice and warm. To answer your question, no, I'm not a big fan of most of those bands. Okay. What are you a fan of, Six? Since you are, you're a bit like Gooden. The old unsolicited opinions. I don't like Hendrix there, I said. Yeah, but lots of people do. I do love a big fat humbucker, but I also love I love everything. That's my problem. Sorry. I apologise for enjoying things. Like Baroness use single coils on pretty much all their stuff. And it's got this certain bite, which just is their sound, and I reckon it's really good, and they should keep doing it. I think it's unique and it's really nice. So you get more pick attack. You get a bit more. Yeah, it's just something else. It's another dimension. It sets them aside from everyone else. And then I go see some bands, and everyone's got the same fucking preset on Kemper, and it's boring as fuck. And it's all typical metal or metalcore fucking guitar tones, and everyone sounds like everyone else, and you couldn't pick the fucking band from a lineup. So yeah, horses for courses, eh? So don't be scared of these little fuckers, because there is so much documentation out there now, whether or not using kit they'll like that fact. If you get them for a decent price, they are pretty cool little amps, but I wouldn't be taking it on the road. I just despise the sound of sibilant, peaky single coils through multi-stages again. Yeah, it's fair enough. Just putting shit on you, mate. It's alright. But that clean channel, holy fuck, that was bright. That was way too much. That was kind of horrible. Oh, screws loose still. Going to see AC/DC on Thursday. Holy shit. At a distance, it looked like you wrote going to see Acidic on Thursday. I thought it was some indie band or something. Some grindcore band. Acid Bath. I think Metallica's Black Album is crap. There, I said it. You and fucking half the world think that, Scotty. I don't think that's a really hot take. What was wrong with it? Bad switch in the power scaling circuit. Bad switch. Naughty switch. Has several single coil guitars, including Telly's P90 loaded semi-hollows. Love throwing them through fuzz and doing post-rock. Yeah, nothing quite does it like that, eh? Everyone knows Metallica's best album is Kill 'Em All. If only they did indeed kill them all, though. They only killed one. Too soon? So I'll just put this back on for now. I feel like that should be over the resistors, yes. That goes under the end caps, like so. There's a little rebate there, a little notch in the corner for that reason. Everyone knows Metallica's best album was Load. Or what was the one they did with Lou Reed? Lula or something? I don't know. His Mustaine is going to piss off finally. I like Megadeth. Took me ages to get over the voice as a teenager, but I don't know. I like Megadeth. Yeah, I just saw that the other morning. Megadeth announcing their last everything. Lulu is the worst album ever made. I think it's in contention for sure, yeah. Megadeth rules. Oh, I've got an alloy. I agree, Scotty. I think Megadeth's good. And some of our best times at Megadeth gigs. We went to one and there was this student kid. He was like, I don't know if he was Japanese or what, but he could barely speak English. Me and my rowdy mates took him under our wing and we fed him beers all night. And he's like, "You guys rule! Yeah!" And we taught him swear words and stuff. And the gig started. Like, this is before the gig. We're all drinking and fucking for like 2 hours before the Megadeth went on stage. The show happened and we're all in our early 20s, so we're all moshing, we're fucking crowd surfing and headbutting each other in the crowd and stuff, and smashing beers down our throats. And the gig's over, we're all covered in sweat from the mosh pit and just soaking wet with fucking disgusting gross beer and sweat and stuff. And we're all like, "Yeah, that was mad," high-fiving each other and stuff. And we're walking out and the poor student kid that we were shoving beers in his face all evening, he's just like lying passed out against a post. we broke him accidentally. Poor bugger. Probably took him 3 days to work off that hangover. He had the time of his life though. I just don't know if he remembered it. I play a hardtail Strat style carbon bolt with a Sir single coil pickups most of the time. Recently got a Hammer USA Special Pearly Gates JB and it's my humbucker guitar for now. Nice. Stormtroopers of Death. What about the Mr. Bungle stuff recently? Fucking brutal. Oh, first heard Master of Puppets on the bench in front of a huge bonfire on acid. That is quite the way to first take in that album. I'm jealous. I've never done acid. Keep telling Shell that next time we go to Vivid, we should drop acid. Flashy lights and shit going on. I think you'd probably want to be in a bit of a safe space, though, not cruising around the city. Last time I tripped, I listened to Sailing the Seas of Cheese from Primus for like 8 hours. That's a formative experience if I've ever heard one. Accidentally, yeah. Mr. Bungle's Post Faith No More. I like them both. All right, champions. Well, it's 27 minutes past when I said I was going to go, so I'm going to go do a lap of the river and meet my lovely wife for some kind of meal. Should be better dressed than this, though. I'm wearing shorts and am I that flexible? Shorts and runners. I don't know if I should go for dinner like that. Might have to go home. LSD is like nothing you've ever done, Brad. Be at home, no bad trips. Yeah. Maybe being at home is a bad trip though, Scotty. Did you think of that? Been watching in bed for an hour or two, dozing in and out of sleep, finally decided to get up and turn the computer on. What time is it there, Robbie? Is it morning, mate? Love hanging with you guys. See you all soon. Thanks, Chris. So that does mean a lot, mate. I do appreciate that. Bloody legends. I think we've got a nice little space over here of the internet. I don't care about growing. You can tell by my fucking lack of output. But, yeah, I'm not here to take over the world, but it's just, like going to the pub for a bit, catching up, watching me stress out about amps. It's good to have a definitive fix for once, instead of the massive amount of intermittent faults that never show up on my bench until I give it back. Like a valve state I got in there. It's just, it is shock sensitive, but I just can't pin down. It requires so much shock or so much flexing of the board that it could literally be any component. It could be the component itself, not even the leads. And it's a fucking valve state. It's like, how much time can I spend on it? Pain in the ass. But yeah, looking forward to getting into all these classic amps, all the Marshall heads, and back to those Tweedly-doos and the Ampeg, and get some good videos out for you champions. I've just got to knuckle down. Trying to focus on making a video at the moment is damn near impossible. I don't know if the internet's making me ADD or something, but I need to disconnect and concentrate or something. I've got to change something because it's really hard to concentrate. I've got to stop reading the news. That's what I've got to fucking do. I've got to just wrap myself in a little bubble of amps and fun stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Discord. I've got to engage with it more too, to be honest. Let me just see if I've got the link here. Hang on. Discord. Should I make Discord members only, though? I don't know. Just because I want to try and keep out the riffraff, you know? Yeah, I might keep it members only just to keep out the bots and shit. I have a baggie with old acid in it somewhere. Careful it doesn't age. Yeah. Well, what was that story about the dude working on the Buchla? Emerson, Lake and Palmer, or someone spilt acid residue or some shit on it, acid solution, and the guy worked on it and repaired it and got fucking high off it, and tripping out. I'm wondering what the hell's going on. He's just at his workbench, minding his own business, fixing this synth. I don't know if it's true though. I heard somewhere that was bullshit too, so. I'll pay for a Brad membership if I have to. Well, Lou, all the tiers of membership on my YouTube channel, I don't have a Patreon. I probably should have gone Patreon, but it's too much shit to manage cross promoting stuff and whatever. All the tiers of membership on my channel get the same material. So it's more just, I don't want to have it a paywall so some people can't afford it. So I've got like $2.95 or $2.50 or something is the entry tier per month. That's just literally to keep the bots out. And even if you pay up to, I think the maximum is like $15 a month, you still get the same material as the stuff on the bottom. It's just how much you want to contribute. Obviously, it's going to be a good way to keep the bots and trolls and shit away from Discord. That's all. If I publish it here, could end up like, at the moment my channel's small enough, no one gives a fuck, no one's noticing. But if the stuff does change in the future, it could be annoying. You have to change accounts and stuff. Getting dosed accidentally would suck. Yeah, someone dosed me deliberately once. See, to me that's like all kinds of abuse. If someone is intentionally secretly dosing you, that's like spiking drinks. That's a violation of your fucking human rights, like your bloody violation of your space. I would prefer Patreon, but I guess if I can do the Google thing. You know what I haven't done for ages? I've totally forgot about gifting memberships. I used to do it every month, and I've just been so busy, I've just forgotten all about it. All right. let's do that. Oh, I get 10 free memberships a month to give away. There you go. There's 5. Sorry, jetification. I forgot all about that, but thank you and welcome to the One Shot Cappuccino Club. Who got one? Scotty got one. Richard got one. Diablo Vapor's got one. Jeremy Winkler. Basil got one. Legend. And since I'll forget to do the other 5, let's just do them now too. There we go. Never mind, you're just looking at my head. Seth Wilson got one. Dave Newman got one. You legend. Glenn got one. Dave H got one. And Dry Stool got one. There you go. We finally got some to our regulars. Well, there you go. You can go back, if you haven't been a member before, go back and have a look at the previous stuff. There's been a couple of slightly spicy videos in there that I don't like being on the public thing because you get nothing but whining, even though you're just stating the obvious truth. And just stuff that's like behind the scenes and whatever, and bits and pieces, maybe stuff that would seem a little bit unprofessional. Yeah, well, there you go, legends. All right, that was a good note to end on. And like I said in the last stream, be nice, be kind to each other. If you're talking to people online, just try to remember there's a person behind that screen. And even if they are being a massive cunt, be the better person and don't be one back to them. If you can avoid it. So, take it easy. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.